It's our pleasure to welcome our Attorney General and now Republican nominee for Governor, Adam Laxalt, to the program this morning. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dan.
A little busy night last night. You had a great event last night, too, with a really good turnout. So the support is clearly there. You won by a really big margin, which a lot of folks expected, including yours truly. But congratulations. Now the work really starts, right?
Well, we were incredibly excited for the results last night, having 7 other people in the race, including another statewide elected. But all the campaigning we did, starting with 17 counties and finishing off the primary season with 30 stops across the state.
Yeah.
You know, our message resonated, and to be able to be over 70% with that kind of field, we're incredibly pleased with.
You know, when you were doing the county-wide tour, when you were out a few months back visiting all 17 counties, the reaction you got from people, you had to feel confident, but you never know with elections, but you had to feel pretty good based on the reaction you got from all around the state.
Yeah, this is a tough business. I've got 3 kids under 5, and
that's a tough business all by itself.
Still a big day job. But yes, when we did our 30-stop tour, the amount of people I ran into, I voted, we're excited for your race, we're going to be there, we're going to help you get over the top, that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
Question.
Steve Sisolak is going to be the Democratic nominee. He won pretty easily yesterday. I don't know, was that what you were expecting, or were you kind of not sure which way that was going to go between Chris G. and Steve?
I didn't really have any real feel for it. All you know is that he had to spend whatever it was, $6 to $7 million to be able to beat her, and obviously when all the votes were cast, half of his party still didn't vote for him. So we're very encouraged. We come into this general election with a unified party, with incredible support all across this great state. We have laid the groundwork going around the state over and over already to make sure that we're going to fight for every square inch of this state. We are going to fight till the end, and we feel very good about our team so far.
Republicans statewide, of course, we have a deficit as far as voter registration goes against the Democrats. But as far as turnout went yesterday, it turned out very well, didn't it?
There was an incredibly competitive state, as all your race, I should say, as all your listeners know, on the Democrat governor's side. Our side, it wasn't quite as competitive, and there was no competitive Senate race, and all those factors. Despite that, it was nearly even as far as the actual turnout, and certainly governor to governor, it was nearly even. And so that is a great sign that our voters are enthusiastic. They know the stakes. They're ready to turn out, and they know what this race is already going to be about, which is it's going to be a race for the future of our state.
And I know you've been talking about it for quite some time, and we have too here on the program, that it's a midterm election, typically midterms, not a presidential year. Turnout is lower. That's always a frustration. But we've been talking for a long time how important it was for Republicans to pay attention to the primary, and they did.
Yeah, look, it's like I said, we traveled the state. We did this 30-stop tour for a reason. We felt very good about the race 2 weeks ago. Yeah. We could have just sat home and had some popcorn and waited for the other side.
Some folks did. Didn't work out too well for them either.
But we committed to traveling all across this state to make sure that we are reaching our voters, getting them motivated, getting them excited about the contrast they're going to face this coming general election for the governor's race.
Adam Laxalt, our Nevada Attorney General and Republican candidate for governor now. He'll face Steve Sisolak this November on the Democratic side. How do you make that transition? You've been working hard months on the primary now. It's like now you've won. Now you got 5 months till November. What changes today for you?
Well, everything we've been doing has been laying a foundation to win this race. Like I said at the beginning, we started with all 17 counties. We've been building our grassroots volunteer. We have the largest grassroots army in the state. We have over 4,000 volunteers already. So
I like that grassroots army. That's good.
Yeah. So, we feel like we are in incredibly great shape to, as they say, make the turn into the general election. But we've been talking about important issues for this state for many, many months, and we finally have an opponent that we get to actually specifically contrast with. We already knew what we were going to get with either Clark County commissioner. We were going to get someone, everyone's seen the ads, we were going to get someone that is more liberal than anyone that's ever run in this state, and someone that wants to change Nevada into something that would make us unrecognizable.
You know, the Democratic primary between Chris Gee and Steve Sisolak, it was kind of a question of who was going to be further to the left and what was the effect going to be. And Chris was generally considered to be the more progressive of the two. But let's not make any mistake. They're both way out there on the left.
There's no question. There's no question. And what you see out of the Clark County Commissioner, Steve Sisolak, is someone that puts cronyism and talk before real results. You have someone that's a career politician, has been doing this for decades, and he's been down there in Clark County, and he's presiding over a jurisdiction that has some of the worst education, or worst education system in the country. They've seen an increase in crime. They've raised taxes and regulations. So, again, do Nevadans want to give that mentality and that style of promotion to be able to turn the entire state into a lot of those failed experiments? I don't think so.
And that's always been a big key to this is how Republicans are going to do in what I call California East down south. And that's going to be really important in the next 5 months, too, is reaching out to people in Las Vegas.
Well, we feel very strong in every county in this state. We had great results in Clark County as well as all the other counties in Nevada. And you know, you can also flip it. I mean,
sure.
Washoe County is a swing district, and you know, a lot of people view it the other way, which is the person that wins Washoe County is going to win this race for governor. We feel very strong in Washoe County. We had nearly 80% turnout for us in the primary last night, and so, you know, we're all geared up and we're ready to go.
You've been talking about the issues, of course, all along leading up to the primary, but now with 5 months to go till November, you really start to focus in, especially on the differences between how you're thinking and how Steve Sisolak is thinking. How do you refine that message more now going forward?
Well, you know, we're about a couple hours into this thing. As you said, we got 5 months to do that. But
you gotta get some sleep first. Right?
But I think, but I think that voters already have a pretty stark choice, and they've got a very early introduction into my opponent. And again, he's someone he's been in a career politician for decades. He's just been a talker, not a doer. I'm excited to put up my record as Attorney General, someone that served the Navy as an Iraq veteran and wanted to serve this state as Attorney General so we could protect our most vulnerable and so we could give voice to people that don't have a voice. We've been able to do that in a lot of really major issues that affect not just Washoe County, not just, you know, Lyon County, but affect the entire state. And that is we've been able to take on the rape kit backlog, which was over 8,000 untested kits going back to 1985. We've been able to create the first ever Office of Military Legal Assistance that gets pro bono legal services for our veterans
and that's been terrific,
active duty.
By the way. I remember when you were first here to introduce that for us, that we were very high on that program. It's worked out very well, so good for you on that one.
Over 3,000 service members and veterans and their families have been able to get pro bono help, and that has been a huge success for our office. It's something that's been copied by a lot of other states since. So we're pretty proud of that accomplishment.
If you are fortunate to finish the deal and become our governor, you essentially become the titular head of the Republican Party here in the state. What's going to be really important too, and I'm sure you're going to be talking about this as a part of your campaign, is Senate and Assembly and what's going to happen in Carson City next January. That's going to be really important going forward too, isn't it?
Hey, there's no question that, you know, certainly on the Republican side, we face long odds of being able to take either the Senate or the Assembly. And that's what also makes this race that much more important. What we saw out of the Senate Democrats and the Assembly Democrats is the most far-left agenda we've ever seen in this state. Fortunately, our governor issued 41 vetoes, a record, to be able to stop that agenda from changing our state forever. But, to all your listeners, they should know all this stuff's coming back. In fact, it could come back in even more extreme fashion. All you see now, unfortunately, is you don't see a nice, moderate, reasonable Democrat. Their party has forced their representatives to represent the extreme left, to represent values in California, not in Nevada.
Which we all keep saying we don't want anything to do with those values over there, but it keeps kind of creeping its way in this direction. Again, congratulations. You're the Republican guy for governor now. Now the real work begins for the next 5 months. Good luck going forward. We'll talk to you, I'm sure, down the road. Thanks for being here first up this morning.
Thanks so much. We're ready to go.
All right. There's Adam Laxalt. He's going to be the Republican candidate for governor in this November.